Nepal is a very fertile ground for tourism. The scenic mountainous region is most famous for trekking and ecotourism. Anyone who has visited Nepal once wants to come back again and again. Although the number of tourists visiting Nepal declined in 2015 and 2016 due to the devastating earthquakes, tourist numbers have been steadily increasing in overall.
It's very difficult for me to put into words how beautiful the mountains are and how lucky Nepal is to have them.
The Gauri Sankar area is the main tourist destination in Dolakha. Mount Gauri Sankar, the Chorolpa Lake, waterfalls and rivers are the major attractions here. The geography of the district is scenic and beautiful. Other attractions here are the eggs and the cheese and churpi, that is hard cheese made from yak milk. Also, many people visit the district for pilgrimage to the Vimeshwar temple, Kalinchok temple, the Buddha monastery at Bigu, and for touring the Jiri valley. Dolakha is also a culturally rich district.
So I really like Nepali people. They are very friendly, very welcoming, and they make you feel at home.
The number of visitors to Dolakha has been increasing every year. The district has emerged as a new tourist destination for both domestic and foreign tourists. When number of visitors increases to a place, protecting that place's natural resources and beauty becomes a big challenge. Another major challenge is to arrange all necessary amenities for the visitors. In order to enable the local communities to face the challenges, various works were carried out in the process of certification of the forest and ecosystem services. First of all, the ecotourism areas, trekking routes and works needed to be done in the areas and routes were identified. Altogether, 17 community forests along the Kalinchok, Bigu, Gongar, Chorolpa trekking route were selected. Then, communities were picked for carrying out the works and pre-informed consent was obtained from the communities. Thereafter, with the direct participation of the local consumers and the National Trust for Nature Conservation, the natural resources and services and major touristic places were identified and mapped. Then the challenges to the sustainable management of forest and ecosystem services were identified, forest and biodiversity was measured, analyzed, and a management plan was developed. High conservation value forests were identified and mapped, a conservation plan was developed, and its implementation was started. The statutes and operational plans of the community forest user groups were revised in line with the guidelines of the Forest Stewardship Council (FSC), and necessary permissions were obtained from the authorities concerned. The communities were taught the ways to keep record of their activities related to sustainable use and management of forest resources, fire control, waste management, use of alternative energy, worker health and safety, and group management and forest management. They are also taught the ways to host guests, about the foods to be provided to the guests, and the importance of locally available organically grown food which are free from chemical fertilizers and pesticides. After the certification of the forest ecosystem services, manpower capable enough to explain to the tourists about the management and conservation works was prepared. Facilitation work was carried out to keep the water and environment clean around the tourist route and to control the smuggling of plants and animals and forest fires. The certification of the ecosystem services helps in the sustainable development of the area. When this area is managed in line with the FSC guidelines on forest and ecosystem services, this helps in the conservation of natural resources and their sustainable management, in the conservation of biodiversity, enhance the natural beauty, and helps in the management of the tourist routes. ANSAB, in collaboration with the National Trust for Nature Conservation and financial support from the Global Environmental Facility arranged through the UNEP and FSC, carried out the certification work. The certification work covers the villages, localities, communities, and the catchment area itself. This work is carried out with direct support and participation from the communities involved in conservation and other stakeholders. After the certification, the local communities and visiting tourists become aware about the harms of litter to the local ecosystems and behave accordingly. People prefer to visit the tourist areas developed in line with the concept of ecotourism and do not hesitate to pay a few more dollars for ecotourism experience. According to a study by ANSAB, visitors are willing to pay 25% more than what they are currently paying to visit the area.
Without a doubt, I would pay twice the amount of money if the rubbish and litter was removed. Yes, I would pay more.
Certification of ecotourism stresses on the use of local products. If properly managed and arranged, tourists will find the local food items tastier than imported ones. Many tourists who would otherwise stay at big hotels are increasingly attracted to homestays.
गाउँको लोकल मसरुम खानु पाए खुसी हुन्छ सिस्नु त्यस्तै मन पराउनुहुन्छ उहाँले ढिँडोहरू कुनै यसो सेक्पा भन्छ यस्तो आलु सबै मिसाएको सेक्पा त्यसो मन पराउनुहुन्छ.
With the skills and knowledge gained during the ecosystem services certification process, people here have made cleanliness and hospitality their habits. More number of local people are now involved in the conservation and management of important plants, animals, and their habitats and other natural resources. More recently, they have cultivated organic vegetable patches near their homes and offer the produce to the visitors. According to a pre-assessment conducted by NEPCON, which is an environment-related certification agency, there are still some aspects needing improvement for the certification of biodiversity hosted by the forest in the conservation areas, forest-based ecotourism, and the soil and water conservation services provided by the forest. If Dolakha's medicinal herbs, biodiversity, and places of touristic significance are protected and managed in line with the FSC's Forest and Ecosystem Services standards, this will greatly help in the sustainable development of the area. But in order to achieve this, firstly, the suggestions and recommendations made by the certification agencies need to be implemented, and secondly, the government and the private sector needs to collaborate to develop necessary infrastructures related to ecotourism and launch ecotourism related projects and programs.